Hey guys, good morning. It's Tony. I have been getting a bunch of requests on people asking for a TA on QuantumScape, which I absolutely love, right? I love QuantumScape, and already looking at the chart right now, just looking at the naked chart, I would 100% buy this right now. I mean, I would be looking at right now an easy 50% gain on QuantumScape, like with it eventually, right? I think eventually you can get an easy almost 100% gain on QuantumScape. And I think if GME or what's it called, if my GameStop or AMC plays, um, actually, what is it called? Eventually return some money, more than likely I'll throw it at QuantumScape. And there's one specific reason why I would 100% buy QuantumScape, 100%. Um, so you guys know that I love um, gaps, right? So actually, you know what? Let's do that a little bit later. Let me start by actually showing you guys, how to actually try. I mean, I do this. I try not to. I try to have everything ready by the time that I talk to everybody, or the fact that I like talk to you guys and stuff, right? Like I don't like doing what is it called? I don't like doing TA like from scratch just because it takes so long. But I do know that I constantly have a lot of people asking me like, "Oh, hey, you should do a how to TA. You should do a how to TA." So I'll try to do more TAs from scratch instead of already having it set up. That way, you guys can like learn my strategy and learn how I actually trade. Right? Like, you guys need to really look at this because I can easily charge like 100, maybe like $50,000 for the way for my strategy and stuff, right? Just from how much money I've made. And then it's like a proven strategy, right? Like it's very simple, it's very direct. um but I don't think a lot of people, at least from what I think, I don't think a lot of people know how to set their price ranges correctly. And I like to think I'm very accurate, especially where certain price hits, right? So I do tend to usually um look at price ranges on the day chart, just because what is it called? Just because they tend to be a little more accurate, right? And they give you a better sense of where price can go and where it's actually headed. But um, right now we are using the weekly chart to set up everything for ourselves. I do think it's going to be a better chance right now of that actually happening. So just because I don't like using the weekly chart on new companies. QuantumScape is generally a new company right now. Um, and I don't like using the weekly charts to set up my price zones just because it's still relatively new, right? And a day chart is usually the better place to go. But for this, but just for like this case, we'll set it up for what is it called? We'll set it up for we'll set it up on the weekly chart just because it'll give us sort of like a rough understanding of what exactly is going on, right? So right now I'm setting up my price zones, and I told you guys before, price zones are gonna be where a lot of candles or a lot of wicks actually touch together. So up here, you guys can see on the very top, right? This blue candle right here, and then this yellow one. There's this wick right here, and there's also this tiny little wick right there that if you guys can see. So I would basically go down and then keep going down all the way until we see that next wick touch. And then once both wicks are touching, or at least in the same place, then you put a price zone. Same thing right here. You have this wick right here, right? And there's nothing in this area. There's nothing here. So you would go down and down and down, and okay, where's the next time there's actually a small wick? Right here. The next time there's a wick, it's right there. Same thing again. You go all the way down on this candle, on this wick, sorry. And then you would have a wick right here. There's a wick right here. There's this wick right here, this long ass fucking wick. And guess what? You can't go down any lower because then you'd go into the actual candle. We don't want to do candles, we want to do wicks, right? And then the next step is actually going down to these two candles, because we already see that these two candles are already like hitting what is it called? Those two candles are already hitting like some sort of like price correlation, right? So let me see. Can we go all the way down to here? That might be too much. I think the next one we might put is gonna be actually right there, which is a little too close to my comfort. I don't like when they're that close to each other because it doesn't really benefit us in any way, right? The next candle is gonna be, this one is gonna be down here. This one probably here, down here, and up here, right? So that one's actually gonna touch a lot of candles. Let's see if we can do. You want to find a spot that actually is touching a bunch of candles, right? That's the main idea. We have to find something that's actually touching a bunch of candles. We don't want to like. We'll do that. That one seems relatively hitting a bunch of wicks, right? Drawing, second drawing. We don't need to do too much either. Just because, what is it called? I think for the most part we have a general idea of what's happening with price right now, and I think we'll add one more line for our price zones just to kind of set it off, right? But I think the next one is gonna be this wick right here, right? This wick. So we do this wick. Is it touching anything else? Yeah, there's no really like retest of price and stuff. I think the next one would actually be. Yeah, then the next one would be like right here, man. Like that'll be the next drop if it actually does drop. So first off, the very first thing that I can already see is probably gonna be the most important thing right now is actually going to be, if anybody can guess what is actually making my money mind like be fucking happy, you guys can definitely leave it in the comments. But if you guys guessed it, you guys know I love gaps. I love gaps. Guess what's up here? There's a gap. There's a gap, bro. There's a gap. The gap is right here. And it's a relatively biggish gap, right? It's a gap from 80, like what, 83, 84 bucks down to 74, 71. And guess what? From right now, if we actually like went all the way back up and bounced, guess what? From this price range is what, $40 price range up to here. That's almost a full 50% gain, dude. Almost. Oh, actually, that's a full 100%. Sorry, I was looking at the points. That's 111% gain from this bottom right here, right? And I think that's absolutely insane. I think that's amazing. And I would 100% buy this right now. Why? Because there's a gap. I don't need to do any TA. I don't need to do anything else. Because there is a gap here, I would 100% purchase QuantumScape right now. There's a chance that it will keep falling down to 21.16. Just the more I look at the actual chart itself, the more it's like, oh, okay, we have to look at it to make sure that everything's actually like a solid play and stuff. But if I had to actually take a quick guess, yeah, man, I'd say easily. I'd say that what is it called? Actually, let me move this to be a little bit more. There you go. Seems to be a little bit better, just to be a little more, a little bit nicer on the lines and stuff. Oh, actually, we'll do it right there. That's nice. So these are basically your price zones. These are basically zones that I think can actually have a potential of hitting like a pretty decent amount, right? And as of right now, it seems like we are bouncing off this $40 level, right? And we are creating bottoms on the stochastic. So do I think we're headed back up? We might not be headed as high as the previous highs of like 120 or something, at least not soon, but it does look like we're ready to bounce, right? So the last time we hit a low on the stochastic, we were trailing down here for a while, right? Even when we were on the bullish side for the MACD. And as of right now, the last time we actually went bearish was when we actually closed under this, the $60 level. But as of right now, we are bouncing on these bottoms right here. Would I purchase right now? There's like an 80% chance I'd be buying right now, because I don't think there's a big chance that it drops to $21. I think there's a very, very big chance that it doesn't do that. But we actually just crossed over on the MACD on the day chart just recently, and we haven't created bottoms yet, right? Like you guys can see down here, we haven't created bottoms for the stochastic. That doesn't necessarily mean that we have to, that this has to go all the way down. But I don't usually like buying in when there's weaker, like when bearish momentum weakens on the MACD and we actually start creating bottoms down here, or we already created a bottom. That's when I'd like to buy in. So the way that I actually buy in or kind of make sure that there's like a bottom being created is, guess what, did we just test former support? Guess what, we just did, right? Just test former support. Is the MACD bullish? Right now it's not. Right now it's bearish. And does it look like it's bearish momentum is dying? It doesn't look like bearish momentum is dying. It still looks relatively like it's strong bearish movement, right? For the stochastic, right here. Man, I hate when I, how does it do that, bro? There we go. For the stochastic, are we creating bottoms? Not yet. There's still plenty of room to go down, right? So that's the only reason I wouldn't buy right now, is because it's not 100% like it doesn't hit my criteria of, oh yeah, buy now. So it has to hit the support, it has to hit the MACD, it has to hit the stochastic. Dude, what is going on with my, there we go. So yeah, I mean, as far as just buying for that, if you guys don't mind like holding and stuff, and then with the potential of it possibly going down a little bit further, I do think it's a solid play, man. Like, there's no reason. I don't think that there's no reason to not buy right now. I think it's definitely it's definitely would be in your favor, because there's that gap that needs to get filled, right? There's that gap. There's that huge gap that needs to get filled right here. And 100%, like I said, like trading lower, gaps get filled, man. 100%. Gaps always get filled. As far as my experience goes, every single time I've seen a gap, it gets filled. Look what just happened with RKT. We literally filled that 24.53 gap in like a day or two. Obviously, there was a bearish rally, and it got filled a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, because everything just like sold off. But nonetheless, it got filled. And guess what? There's another gap for RKT at like the $20 range. And guess what I think? I do think that it's going to go all the way back down to 20 bucks. I don't necessarily know when, but it's going back down to $20 to fill that gap, because guess what? It's some sort of weird, like I said, some sort of weird trading lore where gaps always get filled, and that's just how it is, man. It's kind of hard to tell you guys, but that's just how it is. Like it gaps get filled, bro. Like that's really it, right? Gaps get filled. There's nowhere else to put it. That's kind of how it is. I'm actually gonna delete that one because I don't think we need it, but just looking at the price zone and stuff. Let me see if I can go lower. Can I go lower? Nope. We'll set it right there. That's pretty good. So it gives us a pretty good understanding of these candles, right? And what exactly is going on. So yeah, if I had to guess, the 4 hour does look like bearish momentum is dying. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is the bottom. Stochastic did cross over, which is a really good sign. Basing this off of the 4 hour chart, I'd be buying in right now. We just went down on support right now. Like, I mean, we hit support, we didn't pass it, we closed over support, and MACD currently is actually, man, I gotta figure out what's going on with my little arrows thing. But the MACD right now is actually, the bearish momentum is actually dying. And then on the stochastic also, we did just create a bottom, right? We see the stochastic, the blue line cross over that red line, so it does look like we're headed back up. I don't like to be super confident when there's and also on the hour chart, we actually just crossed over on the bearish side, but that doesn't really mean anything, because guess what? Like, you guys can see in the last couple of times that the hour crossed, it's been going on the MACD. It's been crossing and then shooting right back down, crossing, shooting right back down, right? And then over here crossing, and it'll more than likely it'll shoot back down. So I do think we might hit up a little bit and then maybe come back to retest support again. It does look like that's what's going to happen, especially right now, because on the day chart, like I said, we're still pretty bearish on the day chart for QuantumScape, and we haven't created clear bottoms, right? We haven't created a clear bottom on the day chart, and I don't think I would buy in unless there's a clear creation of a bottom. And even on the week chart, it looks even worse. Like, on the week chart, it looks like we actually just crossed over. Dude, are you kidding me? Like, why can't I just, there you go. On the week chart, it looks like we just crossed over. You guys see that the red line just crossed over the blue line, right? And at this point, last time this happened, we dropped all the way down. It's probably not going to drop all the way down, but I do think as of right now, just looking at the week chart and day chart, there's plenty of room to drop. I do think there's plenty of room for QuantumScape to keep dropping. If you like QuantumScape 100% and you're like, oh, this is a great company, this is amazing, I do think that buying in right now, $44 is a great price, because easily, it's going to head back to $84 to fill that gap. Is it going to cross $84? I don't know yet, right? We're not there yet. But do I think it's actually going to fill that gap? 100%. I think 100% it's going to get filled. And it's going to be amazing. Because if you buy right now, you can potentially make, 84, like that 111% that we just talked about. So let's just do like a quick forecast, right? So if you buy right now and just hold, I do think that I do think this is gonna be the bottom of the price. Like I don't think we're gonna go under $40. That's 39.92 level zone that I put right there. But I'm gonna give you the two scenarios that I think can possibly happen, right? Depending on how much you actually like, depending on how much you actually like QuantumScape, and what you're willing to do and how you're willing to hold it, right? So there's two things that I think can happen possibly. Either we create bottoms here at that 39.92 level, that $40 level basically, and we rally all the way back up. Oh yeah, Ethereum is going back up, Bitcoin is going back up just because the stimmy got announced yesterday, right? So everything's going back up. I think there's only two scenarios. I'm not bearish on QuantumScape at all. If anything, I'm like 110% bullish on QuantumScape. Two things that can happen. The first scenario, right? It's we create bottoms right here at this $40 level, and you buy in and you just hold, and more than likely you guys will see like 111% gain. That I'm like 90% sure it's gonna happen. I'm not necessarily sure when, but eventually that gap is gonna get filled. If you believe that gaps always get filled like I do. Scenario number two. We keep going down, the stimmy doesn't work, the market goes down tomorrow, the market keeps going down, and your next buy-in price is gonna be at $21.22, right? That's going to be the next bottom relatively around that price range to buy in. Which in case if you do wait and you buy in at $21, you're gonna be looking at a 300% gain when that gap gets filled from QuantumScape, right? If we ever go down to $21 and I'm not in my RKT position 100%, I'll more than likely buy like 100K of QuantumScape at $21, only at $21. I wouldn't buy it right now, $40, right? But if we ever do hit $21 for QuantumScape, there's a really solid chance that I'd buy in because that gap needs to get filled, at least from what I believe, right? Eventually it's gonna get filled. I don't mind waiting. I'll just sell calls until it gets filled. But I do think that 84, what is it called? That $84 level on the the $84 level on that gap, that top part needs to get filled 100%. And it's in my eyes, this is easy money. It's just two scenarios, right? Either you buy in right now on Monday open and you just wait it out until it goes back to $84, or maybe there's a potential chance of dropping down to $21. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it is definitely a possibility if the whole market keeps going down. And then you buy in at $21 and you get a 300% gain, right? But I do think these are going to be the only two scenarios. I don't think there's anything else to kind of think about as far as like TA goes. Do I think we're going back to 122? I'm not 100% sure, right? Like I don't know. We might go back over 122. I mean, if you cross $84 on that, what is it called? If you cross $71, sorry. If you cross $71 on this price zone right here, right? This is that next support resistance line. If you cross this zone, there's a solid chance that we'll go all the way back up to 122. But obviously we're not there yet, so I don't have, we can't look at the future, right? So we can I don't know what's gonna happen if we cross up there, right? Because the company could get sued, it can fail, it can go bankrupt to zero, whatever. But these are basically your two scenarios. If you like QuantumScape, you either buy in right now and you just hold it out until that $84 gap. Once it hits $84, I'd recommend setting a sell limit like at $82 just in case. Sell 50, 60, 70, 80% of your position and let the rest of it ride. Or you wait it out till it goes back down to $21, and that's risky because it might not, right? And then you buy in right there, and then again you wait till that gap gets filled at $84, and you set a sell limit to sell maybe half of it, maybe 80% of it at $84, and then you just let the rest of it ride. Basically, you got to cash out, right? Unless you really like the company and believe in them, then you hold the whole thing, right? You hold the whole thing and you hope for them to go to like $1,000 eventually. I don't know what their market cap is or their valuation, but that's basically it, right? You either hold or you sell at certain positions if you just want to take profit, right? But if you like the company, then you just hold and you don't really care. That's basically what long-term investing is. Like you can buy Apple at $1, you can buy like $20,000 when Apple IPO'd, right? And if Apple went from $1 to $2, you're not going to take profit. Why? Because you like Apple. It's the same. That's the meaning of long-term investing, right? It's like you put in a couple dollars here, but you never take them out, because guess what? You're not going to take them out for like a long time. Same thing with QuantumScape, right? Just if you think it's gonna rally to 122 even further, you like the company, keep at it, hold it, right? But like I said, these are the only two scenarios I think can happen. We either rally from these bottoms of $44, or we drop down to $22, which is an extremely high bottom. I mean, an extremely oversold area, I think, and it's a solid 300% gain back to fill that gap at $84. So I guess that's I'm done for the TA. These are the two scenarios that I can possibly think of happening. I do think, if I do think, if I had to guess, I do think that QuantumScape definitely has a little bit more room to go down. Maybe not necessarily down, but just kind of trade flat around this area, right? If it does break this $39-$40 level, go under and then trade under that, then there's a big chance we're going back down to $21, right? So to the person who asked me about this TA, I hope this helped you guys out, at least to decide on what you guys want to do for your decision, and have a great day.